Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kharisma Wulansari and I'm from class 4B English Education Study Program from UIN Raden Surakarta. And my student index number is 206121067. In here, I will convey some of the material that I have learned in the language learning assessment course in this semester. First is about assessing reading. Types of reading performance. Perspective. Perspective reading text involve attending to components of large stretches of discourse such as letters, word pronunciation, and other graphemic symbol. 2 is selective. Stimuli included sentences, brief paragraphs, and simple card and graphs. 3 is interactive. The focus of an interactive test is to identify relevant features within text of moderately short length with the objective of retaining the information that is processed. 4 is extensive. The purpose of extensive assessment usually are to tap into learners' global understanding of a text as opposed to asking test takers to zoom in on small details. And then it's about micro and macro skills for reading comprehension. Micro first is discriminate among the distinctive fragments and the orthographic patterns of English. 2. Retain chunks of language of different lengths in short-term memory. 3. Process reading at an efficient rate of speed to suit the purpose. And the macro is 1 is recognize the rhetorical forms of written discourse and their significance for interpretation. 2 is recognize the communicative function of written text according to form the end purpose. 3 is infer context that is not explicit by using background knowledge. 2 is assessing grammar. 5 characteristic to measure communicative grammar. First, the test must provide more context than only a single sentence. 2. The test taker should understand what the communicative purpose of the test is. 3. He or she should also know who the intended audience is. 4. He or she must have to focus on meaning and not form to answer correctly. 5. Recognize is not sufficient. The test taker must be able to produce grammatical responses. And then it's about designing assessment tests. First is traditional paper and pencil test. And the example is an RT or TOEFL and CRT or classroom test. And types of question is complete sentence combining, paragraph editing, multi-table choice, fill the blank, correct the topic sentence, true or false, and communication. 2 is about alternative assessment, and the example is games, online activities, portfolio, and class observation. And 3 is about assessing reading. First, types of reading performance. 1. Imitative. This category includes the ability to spell correctly and to perceive phoneme and grab correspondence in the English spelling system. 2 is intensive or controlled. This is skill in producing appropriate vocabulary within a context, collocation, and idioms, and correct grammatical features up to the length of sentence. 3 is responsive. require learners to perform at a limited discourse level, connecting sentences into a paragraph and creating a logically connected sequence of 2 or 3 paragraphs. 4 is extensive. Implies successful management of all the process and the strategies of reading for all purpose up to length of any essay, a term paper, a major research project report, or even a thesis. And then is about micro and macro skills of reading. First is product grammars and orthographic pattern of English. 2. Produce reading at an efficient rate of speed to suit the purpose. 3. Is produce an acceptable core of word and use appropriate word order patterns. 4. Is use the theoretical forms and convention of written discourse. 5. Appropriately accomplish the communicative function of written text according to form and purpose. 6. Is feelings and connection between events and communicate such relation as main idea, supporting idea, new information, give information, generalization, and exemplification. 4 is about assessing speaking, types of speaking performance. First is imitative. Is the ability to simple parrot back or imitate a word or phrase or possibly a sentence. 2. Intensive. The production of short stretches of oral language designed to demonstrate competence in a narrow band of grammatical, phrasal, lexical, or phonological relation. 3 is responsive. Responsive assessment tests include interaction and test comprehension, but at the somewhat limited level of very short conversation standard, greetings, small talk, and etc. 4 is interactive. The length and complexity of the interaction, which sometimes include multiple exchanges and or multiple participants. 5 is extensive or monologue. Extensive oral production text includes speeches, oral presentation, and storytelling, during which the opportunity for oral interaction from listener is either highly limited or ruled out altogether. And then is about micro and macro skills of oral production. First is product difference among English phonemes and allophonic variants. 2 is produce chunks of language of different lengths. 3 is produce English stress patterns, word in stresses and unstresses position, rhythmic structure, and intonation contours. 4 is appropriately accomplish communicative function according to situation, participant, and goals. 5 is use appropriate styles, register, implicator, redundancies, pragmatic convention, conversation rules, floor keeping and yielding, interrupting, and other sociolinguistic features, face-to-face conversation. Conveilings. 6 is conveilings and a connection between event and communicating such relation as local and peripheral ideas, event and feelings, and new information and giving information, generalization, and exemplification. And number 5 is assessing listening. Types of listening performance. First is intensive. Test the smallest part of language such as phonemes, word intonation, discourse markers. 2 is responsive. Respond appropriately to what has been heard. In this case, the test taker is expected to be able to master of WH question in order to be able to answer the question correctly. 3 is selective. The test taker is able to choose the most appropriate answer based on the specific information that has been heard. 4 is extensive. In extensive listening, a broader and more general understanding is needed. Usually includes the essence or main idea what is heard. And the last is about micro and macro skills of listening. First is discriminate among the distinctive sounds of English. 2 is read some chunks of language of different lengths in short-term memory. 3 is recognize English search patterns, word, in stress and unstressed position, rhythmic, structure, intonation, contours, and their role in signaling information. 4 is recognize the communicative function of utterance according to situation, participant goal, and 5 is infer situation, participant goals using real-world knowledge. 6 is about form events, idea, and so on, describe it, predict outcome, infer links and connection between events, deduce causes and effect, and detect such relation as main idea, supporting idea, new information, given information, generalization, and implication. Okay, I think it's enough for me. If there is something wrong word or something that is not pleasing, I really say sorry. Okay, thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.